Hello friends, this is problem 31 from the chapter friction of the book H.C. Verma. In this question we have two blocks of given masses capital M and small m, and what the question says is as follows. You can see we have a small block of the mass small m kept on the left end of the larger block. Initially it is placed on the left end on a larger block whose mass is specified as capital M, and the length of that block is also given to you. The whole system can slide on the horizontal road. Now the key point. Now the main point of the question is that the whole system, the entire system is started towards right with an initial velocity of v. What does this line mean to you? The system is started. What does it mean? What does it mean that the system is started towards right with the initial velocity v? It means both the blocks are given the same velocity v, but the question says that the system is starting with the velocity v and the system consists of two blocks of little m mass and capital M mass. So they both are started with the same velocity v. This is what question want to say. And then there are some more information in this question regarding the coefficient of friction, which is the at the ground the coefficient of friction is denoted as mu, and between the blocks the coefficient of friction is denoted by mu by 2. This is the question part. And now we have to tell at what time this small m block will separate from the bigger block. First of all, why they separate? Why the smaller block will separate from the bigger block? That is the question. And how the friction will act in this situation. So first we will analyze this question and then we will solve the. Then we will move to the mathematical segment. See, since both the blocks have been given the same velocity, they both have given the same velocity v. We all know the basic characteristic of the friction force, that friction always opposes the relative motion. That is the basic nature of friction. It opposes the relative motion. Now, as you can see, at the initial moment, both the blocks have the same velocities, and that means there is no relative velocity between them. So at the initial moment, which means just after the beginning, there is no relative velocity between the two blocks. But yes, there is a relative velocity between the ground and a lower block, since the ground is stationary, fixed, and the lower block is moving with velocity v. So to oppose this relative motion between the lower block and ground, first of all, friction will appear at ground. So there will be a friction at the ground first. So first ground friction will appear. And then what will happen when the ground friction appears? So first ground friction will act on a lower block in the opposite direction, in the left side direction. So there will be a ground friction on this block. It is Fg, F for friction and G for ground. Now, after the ground friction acts on the lower block, now that ground friction will slow down the lower block. It will reduce the speed of the lower block. It will slow down the mass capital M. And if this lower mass slows down due to the friction at the ground, then its velocity will reduce and the upper block will be relatively moving in the forward direction. Suppose that the lower block velocity is reduced, it becomes something v minus delta, it reduces, and the upper block is still at the velocity of v, which means the upper block is moving faster than the lower block. And when the upper block is moving faster than the lower block, then the friction will oppose the motion of upper block, that is Fb, which is the friction between the blocks. And according to Newton's third law, the friction which acts on the upper block in the left side direction, it will have a pair with another friction of same magnitude acting on the lower block in the forward direction. That is according to Newton's third law. So this is the reasoning part of question. I will repeat it. At the initial moment, friction at ground will come. It will act on the lower block. This friction at ground which acts on the lower block will reduce its velocity v. relatively the upper block will move forward, and then to oppose that relative velocity, the friction between the two blocks will also appear, which will oppose the motion of upper block by acting in the left side direction. And Newton's third law, we will use Newton's third law, according to which the friction between the block will also act on the lower block in the forward direction. So this is the reasoning part of this question. Now we are going to form some equations and solve this question. So here is the picture. At the initial moment, the friction at ground will appear, and the friction between the blocks on the lower block will be in the left side direction, and on the upper block it will be on the left side direction, and on the lower block it will be in the forward direction. And these all are kinetic friction forces. So you can write down the friction at ground, and you can also write down the friction between the blocks. What is the friction at ground? So coefficient is mu, and then I have to consider the normal reaction force which will be applied by the ground. And the normal reaction applied by the ground will be capital M plus small m multiplied by G. And therefore the friction at ground can be written as mu times the normal reaction, which is capital M plus small m times G. And the friction between the blocks, you can write down that friction between the blocks, the coefficient between the blocks was given as mu by 2. And for this friction, we have to consider the normal which is acted between the blocks. And the normal between the blocks will be equal to the weight of upper block, which is mg. So this is the friction between the blocks. Okay. Now we will apply Newton law to find out the acceleration of lower block and the acceleration of upper block. As you can see that there is friction acting on the lower block in the left side direction, which is applied by the ground, and also there is a friction force due to the two blocks acting on the lower block in the forward direction, which means we have two frictions acting on the lower block, and you can clearly see that the magnitude of this ground friction is more than the magnitude of the friction between the blocks, since it is mu upon 2 mg, and here you have mu small mg plus mu capital mg. So it is very obvious that friction which is between the ground and lower block has a larger magnitude than the friction which is acting between the two blocks. So on the lower block, we have more force on the left side direction, less force on the right side direction. Ultimately, the resultant force on the lower block is towards left side, due to this unbalancing of forces, the lower mass will have acceleration in the left side direction. Notice. So the acceleration of this lower block will be towards the left side. This is the acceleration of capital M mass, and that I can write down friction by the ground mu capital M plus small m into G, or minus friction by the blocks mu by 2 mg, and this whole divided by mass of this body capital M. So if I simplify it, I get capital M, acceleration of the capital M. You can simplify this term and you will take mu outside as a common value, and this whole divided by capital M. Then inside bracket you will have, even G can be taken outside. So we are left with capital M, 2 times of capital M inside the bracket, and plus small m. This whole divided by 2. That is the acceleration. Notice this acceleration is towards the left side. Whereas the initial velocity of both the blocks was given as v and v. The initial velocity of both the blocks was given as v and v. For the upper block, there is only one horizontal force. For the upper block, there is only one horizontal force, that is the friction between the blocks, which is acting towards left side. So it is very obvious that this mass will be accelerated towards the left side. And what will be the acceleration of this upper mass? So it has only one horizontal force, which is the friction by the blocks. This force will be divided by the mass of the block to get the acceleration of this upper block. So I can write down that the acceleration of this upper block will be towards left, and that I can denote by a small m. And that acceleration will be actually friction by the blocks divided by the mass m. Friction between the blocks divided by mass m. And if I evaluate it, I get the acceleration of upper mass m as friction between the blocks by m. Friction between the blocks is mu by 2 mg. So I will divide it by small m, and I get mu g divided by 2. I get mu g divided by 2. Now what I will do is, at any intermediate situation, if I consider the motion of upper body relative to the capital M, suppose that I have observer on the mass capital M. So for this observer which is on the mass capital M, acceleration of small m will be now considered as a relative acceleration. So acceleration of small m relative to capital M, right? Or I can skip this statement. Okay, I can skip. I can do it in another way. So I will do it this question by some other method, by a simple method. Notice that the lower block will separate at the time when the lower block is about to fall. I denote the total displacement from the initial point. The total displacement done by this upper block is S of small m, and the total displacement done by the lower block from the starting point is S of capital M. And you can write it by the second equation, which is S equal to ut plus half at square. Notice both the blocks were having initial velocity of v, so I can write out v into t plus half at square. But since the blocks are accelerated towards left side, which is opposite to the velocity, we will consider these as negative accelerations. So therefore, I will write minus half, and here I will use the acceleration of capital M mass. Acceleration of capital M mass, I can use mu g divided by 2 times capital M, and inside bracket I have 2 times capital M plus small m. That is the displacement into t square done by the lower block. Now the displacement which is done by the upper block from the initial point, will be its initial velocity v into time t. Again a minus sign because the acceleration of upper block is towards left side. So it is minus half, and the acceleration of upper block is notice mu g by 2. So you will write here mu g divided by 2 times t square. It is very obvious that the upper block is moving more distant than the lower block, then only it will fall off. And what is the difference between them? The difference between these two displacements is nothing but the length of this lower block, which is given as small m. So now you can make one more equation, that at the time smaller block is about to fall, the displacement done by the smaller mass minus displacement of capital M mass will be equal to the length of this plank. And now you can use displacement of capital M as this expression. So substitute this expression in place of S of capital M. And then displacement of small m, we have also already calculated it, Vt minus half mu g by 2t square. Put this expression in place of displacement of small m mass, and put this bigger expression in place of the displacement of capital M mass, and equals to 12. Now solve this equation and you will get your answer. So solve and get the answer. You can check the answer from the book. It is question number 31 from the famous book of H.C. Verma sir, and the chapter is friction. Now, moving to the next question, one more doubt. This is again the problem number 25. Again, problem 25 from the same chapter, H.C. Verma sir, friction chapter. In this question, this figure was not given in this question. Figure I have drawn for you. It says that a block of mass 2 kg is pushed against a rough vertical wall with a force of 40 Newton. Notice that the wall is vertical, it has friction, and it is pushed by the force of 40 Newton. Coefficient of friction is given. Now another horizontal force of 50 Newton is applied on the block in a direction parallel to the wall. This is the main point where students are all generally confused. They are not able to understand this force. And for that reason, I have drawn the figure for you. This 15 Newton force is applied parallel to the wall, whereas this 40 Newton was against the wall. What is against the wall and what is parallel to the wall? So this you can understand from this diagram, that the 40 Newton force is being applied which is perpendicular to this wall, which means we are pressing this block. By the 40 Newton force, you are pressing this block which is in contact with the wall. And look, this is another force 15 Newton which is parallel. This force is parallel to the wall. So these two forces are applied on the block, which has a mass of 2 kilogram. Now we have to tell whether the block will slide or not. Will the block move? That is the first question. And if yes, then in which direction? If no, then what is the frictional force exerted by the wall on the block? So now the question is clear to us that two forces are simultaneously applied on this block. One is perpendicular to the wall and second one is parallel to the wall. They have magnitude of 40 Newton and 15 Newton. Apart from these two forces, I have not shown here, but apart from these two forces, a normal reaction force will appear from the wall and the force of gravity will also act in the downward direction. So now moving to the next page where I have drawn this figure for you. This 40 Newton was perpendicular to the wall and this 15 Newton was parallel to the wall. This is the free body diagram of the object in which 15 Newton is acting parallel to this wall and 40 Newton is acting perpendicular to the wall. Force of gravity will act in the downward direction given as mg and mass was given as 2 kilogram. So that is force of gravity. And the normal reaction from the wall will be towards the right side direction denoted by capital M. So here is the free body diagram of that mass. Let me denote the mass by a point. So this is the mass this is the mass given as 2 kilogram, and it is under four forces. Two are applied by us. One is force of gravity and other one is normal reaction by the wall. It is very obvious that this mass will not move perpendicular to the wall. So first of all, you can say that the normal reaction force will be equals to 40 Newton. It is very sure. Now look at the wall. There are two forces which are 15 Newton and 20 Newton. This 20 Newton and 15 Newton will have a resultant. These two forces will have a resultant which I can obtain by law of parallelogram. So this gravity, the force of gravity and this 15 Newton, these two forces are in plane of, these are in plane of the wall. 15 Newton is in plane of wall. And this force of gravity is also in plane of wall. And therefore the resultant will also be in the same plane. That is what the law of parallelogram says to us, that the resultant of two vectors A and B also, resultant of two vectors A and B lie in the same plane. So these two forces will have a resultant which will be again in the plane of this wall, and that I can denote by like this. That I can denote like this. So this is the resultant of this 15 Newton and 20 Newton. Let me denote it by R. So this R is a resultant. R is the resultant of 15 Newton and 20 Newton acting at 90-degree angle. And since these two forces are acting at 90-degree angle, resultant according to law of parallelogram will be square root of 15 square plus 20 square, and which is 25 Newton. So 25 Newton is the resultant force, which is again in plane of wall. And this resultant will become the driving force for the object. This resultant is the driving force. That means this resultant will try to move this block. And when this resultant will try to move this block, the friction force will appear opposite to this resultant to oppose the motion, if possible. So this friction, notice this friction is in plane of wall. Remember, friction is always parallel to the surface. So friction must be parallel to the wall. It is in plane of wall and opposite to the resultant force R, opposite to capital R, which is our driving force in this condition. Now I will check the maximum possible value of friction force, and the maximum possible value of the friction force is the coefficient of the static friction force multiplied by normal, which in this question is 0.5, and the normal reaction is 40, and that means 0.5 into 40 is becomes 20 Newton. So the maximum friction, limiting friction is 20 Newton, whereas the driving force is 25 Newton. What will happen now? Since driving force is more than the friction force, driving force is more than the maximum possible friction force, it is obvious motion will start. The block will move. Motion will start in a direction of driving force. And what is the direction of driving force? That I can obtain by the law of parallelogram. This driving force will be at some angle theta. Let us call this angle as theta angle. And you can find out this tan theta. I can show this working in a separate place. This is 15 Newton force. Then we have gravity force, which is 20 Newton force in this direction. And then we have resultant of these two. That is the resultant value. And that resultant, let's say that resultant makes angle theta with the force of gravity 20 Newton. So you can write down tan theta equals to 15 by 20, which is 3 by 4, and that is equals to 37-degree angle. So the block will move in a direction along the wall, and that direction makes angle 37-degree with a vertically downward direction. And we can also find out the acceleration. You can also find out the acceleration of this object. Driving force 25 Newton minus a friction force, which will act at the maximum value 20, divided by the mass of object, and that is 2.5 meter per second square. So that was the question number 29 from the book H.C. Verma, Volume 1, Chapter Friction. These two were the questions which were important. They are important to understand the concept of friction force. They are also important for JEE Advanced. Right? Thank you. Take care and bye-bye.